All right. I want to thank you all for coming today. I want to thank all the people behind me, Commissioner Evans, Commissioner Finn, Chief Hooley, Chief Fielding, and everyone else that's here with us today. I want to thank the city leadership. I want to thank all the public safety personnel. I want to thank Tom Grilk from the Boston Athletic Association. We are 4 days away from the start of the 122nd Boston Marathon. We've been busy getting ready, and I want to thank all of the folks in the city and with the state, with the BAA, with John Hancock, who puts this incredible race together. It really takes a lot of coordination, and it's amazing. It's an amazing weekend here in the city of Boston. So I want to thank all the people involved. Before I get into the plans of this year's events, I want to just say a few words about a member of our Public Safety Committee who we lost this year. Captain Robert Haley. He was known as Sarge out in the street, as many of you called him. He served Boston EMS for 35 years. He developed a special operations unit which responds to Boston's biggest events, including the marathon. In 2013, his leadership saved a lot of lives out there, along with a lot of other people. We'll always be grateful to his service. I want to thank his family. As always, we'll be implementing an extensive security measures that he helped design, and I want to just give a shout out. He was always he was in a not a golf cart, I forget what you call it, but he was always at the finish line. He was always there. He was always in the medical tent, and Chief Hooley knew him well, and I just want to thank Sarge for his great work and thank Sarge's family for allowing him to be part of our team and our family. This year we have a comprehensive safety plan in place for the marathon and all weekend and all the big events leading up to the big race. That includes running expo at the Seaport World Trade Center, the Boston BAA 5K, tons of different family events out there. We're working closely with the BAA and our neighboring cities and towns and state and federal partners to ensure the full public safety for all the people participating, both all the runners and the people, spectators, who are going to be watching this great event. We'll be activating our Emergency Operations Center to coordinate all city agencies. The Boston Police Department, as always, will have a very large presence out there. Commissioner will talk about it in a little bit. We'll have observation teams on our roofs, SWAT and hazmat teams along the course. We'll have security checkpoints where we'll be checking bags, starting at Audubon Circle. I really encourage people, if you don't need to bring a bag, don't bring a bag. If you bring a bag, if you could bring a clear bag, that would be helpful to the police department and all of the personnel out there to make sure that nothing looks out of the ordinary, and it would help us with security measures. It would also help other spectators not be concerned about when they see somebody walking with a bag or a backpack, worried about that. So I'd ask you a little extra there. As always, we're going to maintain normal staffing levels in our neighborhoods as well. So when we have an event like the marathon, we have extra presence in downtown Boston and along the marathon route, but that does not mean that we take any resources from our community. We just graduated a class of 97 police officers, so we'll have actually a few more officers available to be able to help us in our communities and our neighborhoods during the marathon. Throughout the weekend, there'll be some road closures and parking restrictions. On Monday, sections of both Huntington Avenue and Newbury Street will be pedestrian walkways only. Traffic leading into the marathon routes east of Mass Ave will be closed at 8 a.m. Traffic west of Mass Ave will be closed at 9 a.m. We anticipate that these closures will remain in effect until about 5:30 p.m. Depending on the race and how it's going. As we know the runners are coming in, we'll make those calls as we move on here. The city will have crews out following the race to restore parking and open streets as soon as possible. For more information on road closures and parking restrictions, please go to boston.gov. And when I finish my remarks, and the Commissioner, Gina Fandacker, our Transportation Commissioner, is here, so can answer any questions that you might have. We're asking for everyone's help to make sure that this is a great, safe, family, fun event. If possible, we're asking everyone as much as possible to please take public transportation or ride Hubway if you can. We request that spectators do not bring bags and large containers. As I said earlier, we're going to be going through security checkpoints, which what will happen, it'll slow down the process of getting in to watch the race. So we're asking you, if you can't, just leave your bags at home. Don't fly drones. The FAA has declared the marathon route a no-fly zone, so we're not going to be allowing drones to be flown over the marathon route. And this is anybody in a home, if you think you want to be, funny doing it, we're asking you not to do it because it becomes a public safety risk and a public safety issue. In the case of overcrowding, we will close down certain areas and reroute pedestrians, so we'll be monitoring the course as the day goes on to make sure that we can do that. We're asking everyone to please cooperate and allow this race to go smoothly and allow this experience to go smoothly. If you're in a checkpoint and you're frustrated because there's a long line, just be patient. The checkpoint is there for your safety. The checkpoint is there for public safety to make sure that everyone has a good day. Right now, the forecast is calling for some rain. Hopefully that'll change, so we're asking people to dress accordingly. Most of all, look out for each other. This event tracks tens of thousands of people who may be unfamiliar with the city, so we're asking you to kind of, if anyone's looking for help or looks a little lost, please try and guide them along. Also this year, there's going to be 16,000 people running the Boston Marathon for the very first time. And with a number like that, and generally Tom Grill told me earlier it's about the same number, it brings in a lot of new people that have never experienced a marathon before, so they're going to come in and follow their loved one that they're following and supporting. So we're asking, we're excited about them and welcome them. We're encouraging everyone to use boston.gov and the BAA website for tips around how to get around the city and for different events that are happening. Before I hand it off to Commissioner Evans, who's going to say a few words, I just want to talk about One Boston Day, which is on Saturday. The marathon is always an important time in the city of Boston. And in the last 5 years, it's taken on a different significance. It's become a movement, and I've said that. On One Boston Day, it's a citywide call to service every April 15th. It's a way to honor those we lost and support those who are still on the road to recovery. There are acts of kindness all over the city of Boston. Support has poured in from all over the country and all over the world when it comes for One Boston Day. We're asking everyone who loves the city to join the One Boston Day movement. There's a couple of things you can do. You can go online on onebostonday.org and sign up for service projects in your neighborhood or across the city of Boston, or maybe even if you want to plan one on your own. It's a powerful way to show what Boston means to be Boston strong. After the marathon incident in 2013, if you noticed, 5 or 6 days after the marathon, nobody was beeping horns, no one was yelling at people. It was a different type of feel in the city of Boston, and we're asking people let's bring that feel back to Boston. Let's be patient, let's work with each other. It might mean buy a cup of coffee for somebody, it might hold a door for somebody, it might be a simple gesture, just saying hello to somebody walking down the street. So we're asking you to really participate in One Boston Day and show what it means to be in our city and show what it means to be part of this incredible community. Once again, I want to thank all of our public safety personnel for working to keep our city safe on Marathon Monday and every single day in the city of Boston. To all the athletes racing on Monday, I want to say good luck to you. We're rooting for all of you. For all the first-time runners, congratulations on an incredible experience and incredible just feat of doing this marathon. So thank you for that, and we'll take questions at the end. I want to turn over to Commissioner Bill Evans.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. And first thing I want to stress is I want to thank all our team here. Since last year's marathon, the planning has begun since that time. We've had a lot of meetings leading up to here, whether it's contingency planning should something happen, and tabletop exercises. So, we don't want to get complacent after what happened 5 years ago, and that's something we continually stress. As of right now, I spoke to FBI Special Agent in Charge Hank Shaw, Boston Regional Intelligence, and all our partners. There is currently no threat to our marathon on Monday. So we anticipate, other than the weather, we anticipate a great day. Hopefully the weather will clear up. To sort of go over some of the things that the mayor already stressed, at about 5:30 in the morning, the buses are going to load up on Charles Street, taking the buses up to up to Hopkinton, so that area will be shut down. The Copley Square area will be started to be shut down around 6 a.m. East of Mass Ave, again, 8 a.m., and west at 9 a.m. And so that's the plan. As the mayor said, Newberry Street is going to be a pedestrian walkway, so we ask families who are coming in to use the walkway. Huntington Ave westbound from Belvedere all the way from Dartmouth will be clear for pedestrians. And as we've said, this is a multi-layered approach that the city will use. As people come to the marathon, they're going to see a heavy presence of uniformed officers. We're going to have a lot of undercover officers. And we're asking, like the mayor stressed, if you're coming to the race, please, if you don't have to bring anything large, carrying bags, coolers, suitcases, backpacks, please leave them at home. It just allows you to get quick entryway to watch the marathon. From actually Audubon Circle down, there'll be checkpoints, approximately 35 checkpoints, where people will have to walk in to view the marathon. There'll be observation teams up on the roofs. There's SWAT assets. There'll be bomb-sniffing dogs, as well as hazmat Boston police officers working closely with the fire department. So a lot of training went into this event, but I want to stress there is no threat to this race. We'll be as low-key as we possibly can out there, but we'll be ready if something should happen. I want to encourage people who are coming into the city, please use public transportation. It will make it easier. And if you come into the Red Sox game, which is going on at 11 a.m., we encourage you also to take public transportation. And if you're going to come to the game, access it by Park Drive and Brookline Ave. Come in that way because Kenmore Square is going to be impacted, obviously. But, we anticipate a great day. There's 30,000 runners, 16,000 brand-new runners, which obviously will be an exciting day for them. But as of now, again, we're going to have a great day. The mayor touched on viewing along Boylston Street. If people are coming into the checkpoint and that area gets so congested that we can't have our bomb-sniffing dogs, as well as our personnel to move, those pockets along Boylston Street will be closed, and you'll be asked to go to another area. So the overcrowding issue always happens with the businesses and whatnot along there, and we might ask you to go to a different part. So that's what the mayor meant by that. Overall, again, we're just asking people to behave. I sent a letter out this week to all the schools asking them, don't engage in any crazy behavior. Don't be on rooftops or on awnings trying to catch a view. We don't want anyone hurt. And obviously, we don't want any public drinking on the day. So again, we expect a super day, greatest race in the world. And all of us, we're ready to invite all the people for coming around the world to watch it. So thank you all.
And now we're going to ask Tom Grilk from the Boston Athletic Association to say a few words.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. The people standing here and those whom they represent have set a standard for strength and resilience that has resonated around the world. And those of us who are here and have had the opportunity to watch and work with them know why that is. Commissioner Evans spoke of the ways that they prepare. They prepare for everything and anything and reach a level of preparedness to which others can only aspire. And as a result, if something happens, they're prepared to act quickly, decisively, and courageously to save lives and prevent trouble. So on behalf of 30,000 runners, 9,500 volunteers, and hundreds of thousands of spectators, and those of us who work to organize the race, we all say to everyone here, thank you very much.
We're also joined by Superintendent Ridges with us as well today. Any questions?
Commissioner, are you running this year?
What?
Are you running this year?
Well, honestly, I think there might be a couple of us here that might run. We'll see. And right now, I'm hoping to run, but obviously, I don't want you guys to know. but I guess I'm hoping to run. All right, we'll leave it at that. But honestly, I want to stress again. I got a great team. We got a great, so if we choose to run, I have all the confidence in all of us to do a great job. And one thing I wanted to stress that I sort of always say, if someone sees something out of the ordinary that doesn't look right, please let us know. That whole see something, say something, we need people's eyes and ears out there. So I think that's what we continually stress. But I also want to say we can't get complacent. It's hard to believe it's been 5 years since we lost those young kids on that tragic day. But again, we're ready, and hopefully, we have a great day.
How about in terms of the anniversary, you've talked about this is the 50th anniversary. Is that a concern in terms of preparing for this? Do you prepare more in this situation on an anniversary where, someone might think about repeating it to sort of raise a point. So is there more preparation, is there more concern on an anniversary than perhaps in the previous?
No, I don't think, the year after, we're using the same plan, and, over the last couple of weeks and over the last 6 months, the thing we continually stress is don't get complacent here. Don't let down our guard. And so, you're always worried about it. We worried about it the first year. We worried about it the second year. I think in today's world, any large-scale event, whether it was the anti-gun march or free speech marches or, when we put on anything, we have to worry about a threat all the time. And that's not only here in Boston. That's across the world. Terrorism's a reality. We have to deal with it. But honestly, we're doing everything we can do to make sure we have a safe day.
Threats do tend to evolve, right? A couple years ago, we got this spate of people using cars in crowds. Obviously, active shooter situations have changed and are on everyone's mind. Is there anything that's happened, whether domestic or internationally, within the last year that's sort of at the top of your mind?
Well, I think obviously when we talk about observation posts, you've seen what happened in Las Vegas. I think since that time, anytime we have a major event, we have surveillance from rooftops watching down. When we had the Red Sox playoffs last year, for the first time, we had our tactical units on rooftops. And, unfortunately, as terrorism and their tactics evolve, we have to evolve. And you'll see all along the Boston, in some of the major points, we'll have large dump trucks, so no one actually would drive in. You'll see our officers, instead of inside the barriers, they'll be embedded in the crowd, both uniform and undercover, watching the crowd. So we've continually adapted our plan based on what we're seeing around the world. And so, yeah, we have adapted over the last year to some of the things going on around the world.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, with regard to One Boston Day, you talked about it a little bit. What are some of the activities that you want people to know about, things they can get involved in so that they can volunteer?
I mean, there's blood drives in the city. In Dorchester, the Richard family is doing some incredible things of cleaning up the streets and parks and things like that. I'm going to visit, I think I'm visiting a firehouse and police station and just going out and saying thank you to our public safety officials. There's a whole list of different things. I mean, I think that, again, the beauty about One Boston Day, there's not just one event, and you don't have to go because I'm there. There's so many things you can do. Somebody sitting in their home in Roxbury, if they want to do something, there will be something going on in your neighborhood. And if there's nothing, if you want to do something, or in West Roxbury or anywhere in the city of Boston, it's incredible. And it's really gone beyond Boston's limits, too. You have other acts of kindness happening in other parts of Massachusetts, and that people are doing the same thing in their town. So I honestly just encourage you to go to the website, see what's available, talk to organizations in your community. You can join the bigger events that are happening, or you can just do something in the neighborhood that might not seem that significant, but it actually is significant.
I have a question for Commissioner Finn.
Yeah, Commissioner Finn.
This is off topic. In regards to the fire truck incident, do you know how often these backup trucks are inspected, and if what broke would have been part of that inspection?
Well, the reserve fleet's inspected just like the frontline apparatus, so the maintenance and all that is well maintained. So we're just waiting now. We're reviewing all the training records, mechanical records, and the equipment. So right now, I have no idea exactly what took place. It'd be too premature for me to even speculate on what took place. We're bringing an independent investigator in to take a look at the truck, decide what was going on, what happened. We were just very fortunate. Firefighter was on, just stepped off that truck on that roof line. If that bucket did not actually hit that roof line, that truck would have collapsed right to the street. And thank goodness that he was able to get out and get onto that roof before. So we're very fortunate.
Do you happen to know when the last time that particular truck was inspected?
I don't right now, but we're compiling all the records, and I get the utmost faith in our fleet maintenance division. We do have excellent fleet maintenance division on top of all of our equipment. And this was, again, an older truck. It's 13 years old. It was a reserve truck for us. The original Tower Ladder 10 is being repaired from an accident it had during the bad weather. So this is a reserve truck for us. But the fleet hasn't really been since, for the last 3 years, 4 years, we've really increased the fleet. We've really got top line, front line apparatus. So this is kind of a anomaly for us right now, so we'll just see how it goes as far as the investigation. It's crucial.
Just generally, are they inspected annually, semi-annually?
There are standards every year, 2 years, for different components of the trucks. Okay, for strain tests on the ladder component, it's tested a certain amount of time, and all the trucks go through preventive maintenance, and our reserve fleet is treated just like our frontline fleet. So we got to make sure that, because they can be pushed into service at any time. If something happens with a piece of equipment and we need to push one of those reserve trucks into service, it has to be ready to go. So there's no differentiation with us as far as what we do as far as servicing them.
And Mayor, any comment on the incident last night with the ladder truck? I know the union said that they're grateful for the new trucks.
Yeah, I'm grateful that no one got hurt. The commissioner called me last night right after it happened, and we spoke about it this morning. And I'm just grateful no one got hurt. And part of our plan here is to rebuild the whole new fleet of trucks, both the engines and the ladder trucks, making sure that we have the best technology in the city of Boston, the best equipment in the city of Boston, and that's something that we're going to continue to push here. When you look at some of our, unfortunately, in the city, if you look at our buildings, they're old and they haven't been maintained in decades. Some of our equipment in our police department, we're doing new radios in the police department. We had a situation where our radio system could no longer buy new parts for it. So we had to bring a whole new radio system in. We did, I think, a 5-year capital plan, $52 million to replace all our radios. So a lot of what we're doing now, and it reflects in our budgets over the last 4 years, is maintenance. And I would love to see the older trucks that are in the yard be somewhat newer and not 13 years. So I think we have to I think we're on a pace now where these trucks will be in service for X amount of years, and then they go into the backups, where they're still in decent shape. And I think that's something that we're looking all across, not just police and fire, but ambulances and our parks department and our public works. So we have some issues here that we're trying to catch up.
So there are plans to continually update this equipment?
Yeah, I think in this year's budget, we're buying more trucks, and in this year's budget, we're doing we're doing a lot more upgrading through our capital budget, upgrading of buildings, upgrading of facilities, upgrading of equipment, upgrading of all of those different things. I mean, I know we were talking about the fire department last night, but if you see some of our public works trucks out there, some of them are old. And it's not a fire engine or a ladder truck, but it still carries precious cargo, human beings in it. So we have to make sure that the people that work for us are safe.
Last question.
I just want to thank all the media outlets who have been covering One Boston Day. Many of you have been running different ads, so I want to thank you for doing that. And those stations that haven't, go back and tell your bosses that they're doing over there. So thank you very much.